Today's conversation, we have a lot to cover. So we're going to dive in because we have a lot of stuff to chat with you guys about. Every single person in the world that owns a business wants more customers. So we're going to help you with that today. So we're going to talk about all of the 5 ways to get more customers. So let's start with the who.
Yes.
The number 1 way to get more customers is to focus on the who. Whose attention do you want to get? Who do you want your product to be for? Who are you creating all of these amazing sweets and treats or whatever it is that you make? So I would really encourage you to sit there, make a list of the people that you're trying to attract, and then the rest of everything that you do should be only solely focused on getting those people to pay attention to you. So for example, we sell Passion to Profit, right? Passion to Profit is not a cheap course, which means I'm not talking to beginner, low-level, basic people that are just getting started into the baking industry. Why on earth would you spend $1,200 on a course if you don't even know for sure if you want to turn it into a business? If I offered a course for $12, who do you think I would attract? A lot of people would buy that, but it's not about the money or the amount of people that I can get, which are followers. It's about the quality of people that could actually turn into paying customers. So when you guys start devaluing your magic and start charging incorrectly, then what do you think you do? You start attracting a bunch of other cheap clients that have high expectations and very small wallets.
And then on the flip side, if you're trying to sell to everyone, you're probably going to sell to no one, right? And so people like things that are a custom fit. So if you know who they are and who your customer is and it feels good for them, they're going to be attracted because they already see and feel that this is for them.
We're going to move on to number 2, which is the what. So what is your products? So often people are so focused about growing their following and getting more customers and getting the people that they forget to really focus on the product that they're creating. So some of you may be like, well, my cakes are really good. Well, that's awesome. You could even take that in the direction of leveraging on the people that said they were really good and using those who's to get you more of the clients that you want. But let's specifically focus on the products right now. I can't tell you how many people are not taking it super serious that your number 1 tool for gaining more clients and increasing your revenue is to have a really amazing product. So if you're not doing something to constantly test and try new recipes or following the seasons to see what's happening in your community, or figuring out how to jump on trending topics, like if it's Cinco de Mayo and you could do something with churros or conchas or something like that, then you're not really focusing on how to position your products, the what, to attract the who's.
Once you know who the who is, then you have to make sure that you have the right product for who that is, right?
Right.
So let's just say from a demographic standpoint, you say, my customer is this customer that lives in this particular area, and that particular customer is not interested in eating donuts, then why would you sell them donuts? Right? So, and it's important that you know who they are and what they would appreciate and what they find value in. That's going to help you with making sure, 1, that your product is ready for them, that it looks its best, and then also, is your who more interested in taking a picture of the product more than they are eating it? We know that is the place that we're in right now, where people want something that is Instagrammable.
Right.
They're going to add that to the dictionary, I'm pretty sure.
Instagrammable. So that was what I was going to say when we talk about letting your products speak for themselves. I want you to think, like, if you follow the Cake Mamas at all, you would know that I invented the unicorn cupcake. Well, that has kind of taken the world by storm. It's often imitated. It's always replicated. But the thing is it's all over Instagram and Pinterest, and people don't really care how much it is. They just know they want to come in to get one to take a picture with it. we did an event and it was a cheerleading competition, and we sold the unicorn cupcakes. And they said that there were 30,000 people at this event. We sold more than we've ever sold at any event in the short period of time we were there. We sold out of everything. It was the highest price points we had ever put on anything that we've sold. And not one time did someone say, what flavor is this?
Yeah.
Like, let that sink in for a second, because focusing on the products that you sell, a lot of times people miss the presentation. So creating things in an Instagrammable era that we live in, people want to take pictures of things. They want to surf Pinterest, right? Is it shareable? So creating products that are share worthy, instead of asking people, hey guys, can you tell your friends to follow me or follow me for this? You should be creating products that you don't even have to ask people to share it. They want to share. So let me know in the comments if you think that that makes sense, because I cannot hammer that hard home enough.
And I'm going to go a little bit scientific on you. When you offer something that is not the norm, it is called breaking the script. And what happens is that we all kind of have a bias, and when we walk around, we know what we know what to expect. So we order something from IHOP, we know what the pancakes are going to look like. We go even to a little cafe, we have a pretty good understanding of what the waffle is going to look like. It's when you go to places that blow your mind and you go, oh my God, did you see how big this pancake is? The size of the plate. They have just broken your script, which makes you want to tell someone about your script being broken, right?
Yes.
So that is so important. So a unicorn cupcake breaks the script of what a normal cupcake looks like for most people, right? So that's what you have to think about when you think about the what, breaking people's script.
So highlight your value proposition. So someone's saying, like, does that mean that the look of a product is super important? Yes, absolutely. So you have to be creative. The reality is there are thousands, millions of cake decorators, cookie makers, cupcake makers out there. What can you do to be different? So you've got to figure out what your personal value propositions are. And that is, why do people come to the Cake Mamas versus go to the bakery down the street? Well, why? Because on National Dog Day, we make dog cupcakes. Like, why would they come to the Cake Mamas on a Tuesday? Because it's Taco Tuesday and we've got tacos on top of our cupcakes. So figuring out a way to make yourself stand out from everyone else, I promise you, is the number one way to grow your business. Because your job as creators, as business owners, is to create a product that speaks for itself, that people will want to come and purchase. Number 3, why?
When you think about value, when you think about what is valuable, what do we put value, what do we place value in? I was at work one day and I was looking at, they were having this gigantic Lamborghini show from one block to another block. Just classic Lamborghinis, some of the newer Lamborghinis. Some of these cars cost $500,000, right? Some of these cars were just beautiful. They were pristine condition.
$500,000.
$500,000 for a vehicle, right? That you probably will never get to go as fast as that car can actually go. But one thing I was watching how thousands of people were walking around these cars and just in awe of the car.
Taking pictures
with them. And
Instagram.
And it's a car. I mean, and some people are car people. They love the way the car looks. But what was interesting, I was thinking to myself, and I asked someone, I said, what if those cars were only $20,000?
To me. Oh, to sell.
To sell. Would people still be walking around it?
Nope.
And I was like, they're like, no, they wouldn't. It's the part of it that they know these are high value, that there's a perception of value there. There's status that comes along with that people are attracted to. Yes, they like how the car looks, and maybe you'll get a couple hundred people go, oh, this car is amazing. It's only $20,000, right? Mm-hmm. But part of the story is that it is a $500,000 vehicle. If someone told you, hey, there's a $500,000 vehicle outside of your house, you would go outside because you want to know what a $500,000 vehicle looks like. So part of your story and part of your why is, hey, how much are you pricing your products? And if your products are priced to continue the story around quality, around great taste, around something that breaks people's script. Because what happens is if you say I have the best of the best of the best, and it's $1.50 for that best of the best, people are not going to believe it.
So I just want to let you know how important it is to not make yourself cheap. So if you missed it, lesson number 3 about how to attract more customers is to be priced right. Think about the 99-cent store. When you go to the 99-cent store, does that convey value? No.
That's a throwaway.
So what we teach our passion and profit students is that you're either going to be the bargain basement low price leader, and then you'll attract all of those who's that are bargain basement cheap customers, or you can create products, which was your number 2 key takeaway, to focus on your products that can command a better rate that people won't even blink an eye to spend and give you that money for.
And here's the thing. There is no such thing as being second place at the low price leader. And what I mean by that is if you know that someone is really cheap and you want to be a little bit more expensive, there's no room for you. You're either Walmart or you're Nordstrom. There's like no real within the same industry, right? So just keep that in mind, that you cannot say, hey, I'm going to be second in low prices. I'm going to be third in low price. It just doesn't work that way. You're either the lowest price or you're priced at a value that people are like, oh, wow, that seems interesting.
All right.
And then some of you are thinking, well, that's easy for you to say. You have a bakery, you have this, and you can command that price. You've been on television and all those kind of things. That you have to really self-reflect on that, and you have to say, God, is that my belief coming into play? Is it my limited belief around what I am capable of doing, the value that I actually can convey or command? Is that a belief that I have? And so really stop yourself if you're thinking to yourself, like, I can't do that. I don't have this. I don't have that, right? And so it comes down to, be it now, do it now, and then you'll have it.
So yes. I will tell you, like, just a little reality check if you are slipping into that. Well, I don't have a bakery. I don't have the following. I don't have this. Girlfriends and guy friends, I started from home just like you. I started in 2009 in the middle of the worst economic recession we've ever had in our generation. We almost lost our home. We lost a vehicle. We filed bankruptcy. We had no money. So I'm here to tell you that whatever stories you may be repeating to yourself and comparing maybe your level 5 to my level 25, don't do that to yourself because you'll miss all of this. I'm telling you that the things that I teach are exactly the things that I did. And so from home, I studied, I got better, I watched YouTube videos, I tried to perfect my craft because I realized that some PTA mom down the street that was making cakes, just slapping buttercream on them, were not the cakes that I wanted to make. I wanted to make art pieces that people couldn't even believe were cakes. And so that's what I learned, and that's what I did. I focused on the product, so that way, I can't even tell you how many times when I was trying to sell someone a cake and they were like, $300. And I was like, I'm sorry, is that a lot? I don't understand. And they would be like, well, yeah, for a cake. I'm like, well, what are we comparing this to? So if you're looking at this cake and you're calling mine a cake, yeah, they're not in the same like hemisphere. So I was very capable at that point of creating a better product and also saying, what are you comparing it to? If you're used to spending $40 on a sheet cake from Costco, then yeah, you should go there because that's not what I make. Clearly, no one's gonna be taking pictures of your Costco sheet cake at your party. They will take pictures of this Peppa the Pig cake that takes me 10 hours to sculpt. And if you don't wanna pay for that, then you need to go to Costco and get a sheet cake. And obviously I said it in way nicer language, but I was fully confident that I was creating a product that stood out from a Costco sheet cake. And so even if you've never spent $300 on a cake, I was giving you perceived value. So that's what we have to say about pricing. So that was the who. Secondly, we talked about the what, which was your products. Third, we talked about the why, which is your pricing. And now we're gonna talk about the where. So you're saying like, well, that's great, but where do I find these people? Guess what? Focus on your community because they're there. They're in your community. and you need to serve them. So think about making a list of all of the places in your community that you could go and make friends with, and also hand out business cards or flyers, bring them samples to get the word started about what it is that you do. This is not a magical thing. Running a business is hard work, and running a business will be rewarding for the people that are willing to do the work and who have the natural instinct to say, I've got to get my ass out there and get in front of as many people as I can to make sure that I am being word of mouth for my own business. So let's talk about that. What could you do in the community? You could figure out what businesses you might want to do business with. So if it's a real estate company, take them some cupcakes and tell them that you'd love to either sponsor like a corporate event, not sponsor, but be of service for a corporate event or a holiday party, or maybe even something for the agents, right? What about your kids' school? What about your kids' soccer games? What could you do to make sure that everywhere you go, you're basically a billboard in your community for your own business? So if you have no followers, what do you think you do? You have to be your biggest advocate and your own follower and be raving about your products, sharing your products in order to get other people to say, wow, this is good. And they do want to then share it. That will bring you more customers for sure. So whether it's farmers markets, whether it's utilizing your leftovers and repurposing those for giveaways, whether it's, like I said, positioning yourself to other businesses, offering to do office parties, whether it's the school PTA, whether it's a friend who's a party planner. Literally, I leveraged every single person in my community. I leveraged every one of my family members, and I asked them to take a product and share it somewhere. And then I attached little business cards that said, please follow us. And on my website, it was, hey, follow us because we make really cool stuff, and the products spoke for themselves.
Yeah.
So some of you are like, well, people just are not following me. I would challenge you then to go back and look at your products. And I would challenge you to say really openly and honestly, are you creating things that are shareable? And if you're not, then that's okay. You just got to start focusing on creating better products.
One of the things that Janelle just said that's really key is that she gave and then she asked. That is what's called a privileged moment, right? So if I give you something of value, so the first thing has to be there. You have to create a perception of value. And then I ask you for something, the kind of the rules of reciprocity kicks in and people want to do things for you. So if you're asking them to share, or if you're asking them to promote, whatever it may be, give them kind of a call of action, but you have to give first before you can do that.
All right, so the last one is when. This is the number 5 tip. When do you do this? All the damn time. Like literally all the damn time. There's still not a place that I go that I don't make it a point to say, oh yeah, I own the Cake Mama's Bakery. Have you ever been there? And most often now people are like, oh yeah, I have. Or, oh no, I didn't know that you owned that. So everywhere I go, and I don't do it in an obnoxious way, but I'll give you an example. My daughters are in drama. If I show up to a drama meeting and I bring cupcakes, what do you think happens? Everyone starts to talk about how Janelle owns the Cake Mamas. And then what do you think happens? People that don't know about the Cake Mamas ask for a flyer, and I just happen to have them. So I talk about it everywhere I go as often as I can. Very often I tell the story of when we were first starting and I had 0 followers. I was at a gas station and I was like, God, I gotta get on Facebook and figure out how to get followers. Like, what is this follower thing? And there was a man pumping gas on the phone with his wife talking about how he needed to get a cake for their kid's birthday. And as soon as he got off the phone, I went over and I said, hey, I couldn't help but to hear you, but I own a bakery. I did not own a bakery. I was making cakes from home. I own a bakery. It's called the Cake Mamas. Here's a business card. We'd love to help you with your kid's birthday. And he called, he booked, and he was one of our first followers. And so I cannot tell you how often that I do this all the time all the damn time.
Yeah, and
everywhere we go.
And if some of you are introverts, obviously Janelle is an extrovert. If you're an introvert, then you have to find like strategically the times that you would do that, but you have to push yourself. I will tell you early on, it wasn't annoying, but I knew that every day, everywhere we were going to go, Janelle was going to talk about the business, talk about the bakery with someone, whether we were at a restaurant.
You know why? Because it is your responsibility.
It is, you're trying to bring something into the world, right? Yes. And so if you're not talking about what you're bringing into the world to every single person you interact with, then you're not really trying to bring something into the world, right? You're waiting for something to happen to your business. You have to happen to it. So talking about it everywhere, all the time.
And I'm not annoying. Like, I don't do it in an annoying way. No, I know. I don't want you guys to think like, oh, all she does is talk about her cupcakes. I don't. But at some point, I've talked about it so much that it comes up. You could be trying to figure out how to get people's email addresses. So that way you could be creating an email list, right? So then you could say, hey guys, just wanted to let you know that it's Cinco de Mayo and we will be offering these really cool margarita cupcakes, and you would only be able to market to those people outside of Instagram and Facebook if you captured their email addresses. So some of you that are using Square has built-in marketing capabilities that will allow you to send email blasts out to your customers that you've already done business with in the past. So that's not even like you investing in an extra software or an extra tool, but I would tell you, you need to always be thinking about how and when to market your business. And if it's not something that comes instinctual for you, I can tell you that that is the difference between someone that's really going to make sure they show up for their business and someone that's just sitting around waiting for customers and followers to come their way. And so that's really the main topics that we want to talk about today. Anyways, thank you guys for being here with us. I'd love to see your key takeaways. So we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.